Hi guys, WildGinger95 here. Today I'm going to be doing a DIY book recover. I'm going to do Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix because my copy was covered in duct tape and it was about time it got a well-loved recover. So I'm going to start by marking out the lines where I need to cut on scrapbook paper. You're going to need 2 sheets of scrapbook paper for this project. And they don't have to match because they'll be for the front and the back inside panels. Then you'll have to cut along the lines you've made. I used my rule for drafting and an X-Acto knife scalpel knife. And I just marked it down with one of my pencils. So you'll need to cut out 2 of these, and then those will be the front and back inside cover flaps, or whatever they're called. You'll see at the end. They're where the paper is on the inside of the book covers, if that makes any sense. I'll show you afterwards. So just putting down my second piece. I taped all 4 corners before so that it was secure. I also put it along the lines on the roll just to make it a little easier to line up and make sure it was straight, because that's something that's very key. Although I'm usually not very good at it, I was very precise this time. I love my little, what's it called? Measuring tape. It's awesome. It's 12 feet, I think. And it's one of the lever locks, so you just push the back and it releases. It's awesome. So once again, cutting it out. I apologize about my arm being in the camera. I couldn't figure out how to set it up. I managed to set up the camcorder pretty well, I think, but my arm definitely gets in the camera a couple times. So now that we've done that, we'll move on to the next step. First, we'll remove the tape and clear up the workspace, and obviously put the cap on the X-Acto knife so no damage is done. I'm very bad with X-Acto knives, so capping them is very key. So next step, you'll take your book and you'll open your X-Acto knife and cut between the inside cover and the outside cover to release it from its binding. And mine was already loose and I'd already fixed it with duct tape, so it was easy to just cut it. Very simple. It wasn't attached anyways, except for on those 2 seams. Now just make sure your paper fits properly, and I did crease it. You don't have to crease it, but I just did that because it seemed like a good idea. I probably wouldn't actually crease it. Because afterwards I had to re-crease it once I'd folded it, so don't crease it. Bad step. Now I'm going to take my fabric, and I was just matching it to make sure the fabric and the inside panel look nice together, as they will be going against each other. And I'm just wrapping the book in it to make sure of sizing and just to see how it looks. I think it's going to look very nice. Once again, I'm going to tape down the fabric, and I made it so that the stretchier side was lengthwise versus width. Or I guess it would be... It was horizontal with the book. And it seemed to work for me. I might have done it the other way next time. I'm not sure. That way it's a little more taut, but then it also makes it harder for the book to sit comfortably, if that makes sense. Now I'm just going to cut along to make it easier to work with, make the fabric smaller. And I wasn't too accurate with this because you can cut it down later. So I just put the book in the center and just cut off all the nasty edges and cleaned it up a bit, and then I just cut the fabric down a bit so that it was closer to size, because afterwards you can go back and trim it once you've started to actually attach it. So there's my basic cutout to work with. We'll just remove the rest of the fabric and the tape. And just clean up the fabric as best you can. You won't really see it, but it might show through the paper if it's bulky. Next, I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I'm going to tape around the edges of the book, around the 3 sides of the outside, and then on the spine in the 2 spots where the fabric will attach. And I just laid down the 2 on the edges and opened them up first so that it wouldn't be overlapping, because if it overlaps and you haven't taken the paper off, then it's a mess. So make sure that you take the paper off the 2 side ones first, or put the 2 other ones on and then put the main one on. I did it in this order and it worked for me. You just strip the paper off it and it's really sticky. And I just used my X-Acto knife to cut it. You can use scissors, but that X-Acto knife was close by and it was really simple, so if you want less tools. I did need to use the scissors at one point, but it was very brief. It's really whatever tools you have available, some sort of cutting thing. Preferably not some sort of dinner knife though, just saying, those will probably not work. Go for something a little more functional. So those are our edges. Now we'll just do the spine. Then we'll take the paper off the tape and we'll attach the fabric. It's not super difficult, but you have to make sure the fabric's taut, otherwise it'll look gappy and you'll see bubbles and it won't be nice. So taking the paper off the tape, sorry. It's really finicky stuff. It's because you can take the tape off with it if you don't take it off right. Sometimes it's really simple, sometimes it's more complicated. So we'll start with the first edge and just line it up with the tape, or at least with the thickness that you'd appreciate and want. Now make sure the other side is taut but not too taut, because you need to be able to bend the spine, but you don't want it to be too loose either. Now this corner I actually messed up, so don't follow what I'm doing there. Follow the other corners because I figured it out pretty quick. What you need to do is cut triangles so that the book will have clean corners. I cut the wrong way on the first corner. The other corners are all very nice though. And I did fix that later on, but don't cut the way I'm doing on this corner because that messed it up. Still looks really nice and I fixed it, but wasn't the right way. You want to cut like that and create a triangle, but follow the steps on the next couple corners because they're a lot better. So you just have to make it line up properly, and then you cut triangles into the center so that once you fold it, it'll be evenly lined up. Now I'm putting a little extra tape because there isn't tape where we folded it over already. And you can use glue. I just found that last time I used glue it showed through the paper and the fabric, so I wasn't happy with that. So I think that using the tape works well because it doesn't show through the fabric and it's flat. It doesn't end up looking bulky or anything. Now fold your edges down. And we will trim the corners later, so don't worry about them looking a little messy. Make sure your spine is flat too, because if that's a mess, it'll be hard for that to line up properly. and you want that to look nice. So just taking my scissors, I'm trimming the edges so that they're clean. I will go over that again with the glue gun later. I'll show you a trick that I like to use for my interior design and for that. I use it for fabric samples and bookbinding and a bit of everything. But specifically, it's good for making clean edges and corners. The glue just kind of seals it. So now we've got the basic shell. Now we're going to glue it. So when you're gluing, you gotta wait till it's heated up, obviously. Make sure you have enough glue, because if you run out halfway through, you're gonna be upset with yourself. And I just go around and I put a little drop on each corner and I rub it down before it dries. Not when you're gonna scald yourself, but you wait a couple seconds and press it down. And it's really effective for making it flat. So now I'm gonna put some newspaper down before I do this, just in case it drips. Also, we're going to start spray gluing after this as well, so it's a good step to have newspaper down. So I just put a little bit in the corner and rub it with my finger. And that just makes the corner kind of seal itself. It won't come off at any point or catch on things. And it looks a lot cleaner and finished. Then I just went along the spine and made sure it was closed as well, just because I didn't want it to open up when you added the paper or anything. And I did that to the rest of the corners. In the one corner I messed up, I just added a little extra glue and flattened it down a bit more, but it looks completely the same as the other ones because I flattened it towards the center. And this creates a very crisp edge. Just going to trim along the seams where I've taken off the book, well, the actual pages and the duct tape, just because it was a little messy. Now I'm going to take my glue gun, actually, I think double-sided tape, or Super 77. Use Super 77, it's a, no, not Super 7, wrong glue. Use your No More Nails or some kind of white glue to glue the spine, or double-sided tape. Doesn't really matter. I used the double-sided tape on the inside because it had opened, but then I used Super 77 on the actual spine. Sorry, I keep saying Super 77. I mean No More Nails. I used No More Nails on the spine because it's a very solid glue. It's meant for tile and wood and stuff. So it's really good for gluing the spine. And I just spread some of that in there and put it on the spine as well. And then I took a little bit of the glue gun glue and just put it in the crease where the book lines up, just to make it very secure. And I just pressed down a bit so that the glue would seal a bit. Now you do have to let it glue for a little while, but I didn't wait long enough probably, just because I wanted to keep filming the video, so I will let it sit for a little while after this video. So as you can see, I've just glue gunned the corners just to make it crisp, and then pressed it in to make it seal and not have the big bubbly glue gun glue shape. Put away your glue, and now we're on to detailing. Now this is a fun part. I found these scrapbook corners at Walmart. They're just little metal corners, and I thought they looked really good, and they're just a little metallic-y. Well, they're just metal, but they look really nice. And so you just take those. I took the little sticky pads off them because I didn't feel they needed them. And then you just take them and stick them or put them upside down, and you stick them to the corners. But we're actually going to first do the inside, because all of this needs spray gluing, but this is a lot more spray gluing. So as you can see, I'm just lining it up again. Now I'm going to flatten them out, put them down, move my glue gun. and set up the area. And take my Super 77, which is the spray glue I keep talking about, and just spread a thin layer of the glue all over the paper. This will make it have a tacky feeling to it, and it'll stick nicely, but you can still kind of peel it off if it isn't quite correctly placed. So now line it up with your inside page, because your outside page can be lined up later. Flatten it out and just press it down so that it's flat and you can make sure it's evenly pressed in. And that just creates another crisp image because that glue it presses down nicely and doesn't leave the bubbles or seep through at all. If you put too much of the glue, it will seep through, but if you put it in a good amount, marginal amount, you'll be fine. And see, it's still tacky. So as I did, I made a quick mistake and I was able to fix it quickly just by adding a little extra and peeling it off. And then you press it down. And now we will add those decorative items I showed you. And you could put whatever you like on top of the book. I just liked how these ones look. They kind of made it look more finished. So I just took the sticky pads off the back because they're meant for scrapbooking, so they've got the little foam stickies on the back. And I just sprayed them completely with the Super 77 so that they were soaked in it. And I positioned them in the corner, pressed down, and then continued on doing that till I had them all on there. I may go back and add something to it, but I think the book will look pretty nice just as it is. I didn't add any writing because I just felt like my writing would end up looking messy, and I couldn't find any letters. If I'd found 2 letters in the same kind of metal, I might have put that in the center, just the HP or something, but I couldn't find anything, and I like how it looks, so we'll leave it like that. And then we'll do the other side. I love that there's 4 because I didn't put them in all the corners of the book, obviously. I put them on each of the corners of the opening side. And I think that made it look really clean and look kind of vintagey. I think it looks really fancy. I like it. Send me a little bit of love in the comments. Tell me if you like it or not. What you think I could add to it, if anything. Because I'm up for suggestions if you have any ideas of what I could do to put letters. If you think it should have letters, tell me. Otherwise, tell me if you want there to be letters or not. And that's the final project. Thank you for watching this video. I'll post photos on my blog as well as if you check out my Facebook page and Twitter, there'll be more information. Thank you for watching.